Good morning. It is 6:51 a.m. on Thursday, June 15th, 2017. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Yesterday was a really stressful day with Luna at the animal hospital waiting on the ultrasound results. Um, the good news is that the ultrasound came back clear. Which at least eliminates some of the potentially really bad scenarios that we were worried about. It does not rule out all of them, which is why she still needs to get a scope and a biopsy on Saturdays when those are scheduled for. So we'll see how that goes. She's definitely, I mean, she's got something. This is not a nothing thing. It is something, but a which something and what to do about it is what is potentially to be determined. And hopefully, it's a something that there's something you can do about it. And we'll see. So Saturday is the day for the follow-up tests, but at the very least, the ultrasound was clear. But one of the things I discovered yesterday, and this was something I don't know, I realized that, I've talked in these videos before about sometimes having anxiety about various things, and I know that one of my coping mechanisms for that usually centers around talking myself through, okay, well, what's the actual likely outcome and what would I do about that and so on. But what I realized yesterday is that that reaction is kind of tuned for my normal anxiety, which is when the little voice in my head is sort of blowing things out of proportion and being worried about unrealistic things like, well, what if I go to this party and it's weird or something? Like, why would it be weird? I know these people, and if it's weird, I can leave. It's not a big deal, no big deal. But when the potential thing that I'm waiting on could be a big deal, my little mechanism doesn't. My attempt to think through all the little ramifications of what might go wrong, so that I can dismiss them, doesn't work when they're not easily dismissed. So I don't know. I mean, I'm okay, but yesterday was stressful waiting on that test result, and then of course, now waiting on the new one. But Luna is home for now. She's snoozing across the room at the moment. She seems like she's at least somewhat more comfortable with the painkillers that she got, so that's good, and hopefully we'll just find out. And it's that constant struggle of neither blowing potential worries out of proportion nor taking bits of good news as though everything's fine now. And staying in that realm of uncertainty is uncomfortable, but of course, that's the reality, right? And I don't think there's value in trying to pretend that's not true. Because of course, if I were to try to convince myself, oh, everything's going to be fine, which, I mean, a lot of people, that's kind of their instinct, is to want to say, oh, don't worry, everything's going to be fine, everything's going to be fine. And I appreciate the impulse, because certainly worrying about things that I can't do anything about is not necessarily productive. But it's also true that it's not, I mean, things aren't necessarily going to be all fine, right? I mean, that's just a reality of life, is that sometimes things aren't fine. Sometimes they're just really not. And it's not really helpful to pretend that hoping will make them fine. That said, to the extent that any of it is within my control, I'm already doing everything that I can do. And so I can take comfort in that, at least, that she's being seen by specialists who know what they're talking about. And they're doing what needs to be done. They're going to find out what it is. And once we know more about what it is, we can determine what, if anything, can be done to improve the situation. And so that's, that's where we're at, is we're going to see how things can go, how things can improve from here if possible. And if it's not possible, well, then we'll know that. And it would have been true regardless of whether we knew it, but knowing it, we can respond differently. And, we'll see. So, so yesterday's ultrasound was good news in at least the fact that it did not bring bad news. Because, like, it doesn't mean she's fine, but it also does mean that some of the worst possible things that we were worried about aren't true. And so we'll see. So many levels we had as usual last night. Actually, we were running a little bit later than usual, and so up late. What else is new? But boy, was it fun, and it was nice to release some tension that way. I have great friends, and had people in the chat watching, and that was good. That was good. So in any case, I've got to get ready for work, so I will talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes. Yeah, that's it.